Okay.
Alright, so hopefully everything is good.
I will be checking.
Alright. Well, I'm just going to take down the review cover and we shall begin. Alright, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Weekly WAYPN. I'm Karl.
I'm Sonny.
AKA
Henry and
okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So, would you like to read out our first post?
It be Penguin. The 1:72 Spitfire VB in the markings of South African Air Force in Japan. It is one of two aircraft models as part of a past and present display celebrating the 85th anniversary of number 2 Squadron, aka the Flying Cheetahs.
Well, you know, there's one thing, like, I don't know how historically accurate it is or not. Hey, Rumbleroo.
Hey, Rumble.
But just that one bit where it's like, I know that it mustn't be word, but you see how it's...
Yeah, like, I read it as word at first.
Yeah,
and then it's like...
Oh yeah, Wurod. But like obviously it's that target symbol at the back sort of thing,
Yeah.
and I'm just looking at it and I'm just like,
Yeah. Spelling?
like
V?
that might be historically accurate. Also, I don't know with the wings along here if that's meant to be like intentional weld lines or something, because like it looks a bit.
Can I say imp?
Yes. Yeah. Especially when you're looking front on. When you're looking front on, it's very, very noticeable.
Quite obvious. Well, I think it might be too late to change anything.
Oh yeah, no.
If it were.
But that's the only things that I really have to say about it. I don't think that there's anything else. And look, these might be historically accurate.
Yeah, as far as we know, Penguin. So these
Alright.
models.
So let's move on to Andy.
Andy had a day off, so spent it watching the Fellowship of the Ring. Is it extended version? Painting this big child creative bust. Happy with how it looks. Trying to decide on a color scheme. Odd, but I think it worked. I've also tried to repaint the eyes on the middle Nightshade sister. Still not perfect, but everyone was right when saying she looked either startled or spaced out, so hopefully that is less of the case. Now, it's the best I can do at the moment.
I think it does look a lot better now. Like, I'm just taking a look at it here.
Oh yeah, that'll do.
And I think, like, it does look a lot better.
Yeah.
Because before she was just sort of like...
Hello! Hello, children! Oh no.
What has happened? Everything has gone wrong.
Mommy told me not to follow straight.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
I do think, down the bottom here could be cleaned up a tiny bit. But compared to before, that's a massive nitpick.
This is good. This is honestly good enough. If you really wanted to go all out, you could add a bit of a white dot to create a highlight. But this is more than good.
So the only thing that I'm saying on this one is that the skin needs quite a bit of highlighting. Like obviously these are whips and that sort of thing, but I have noticed that some of the times when Andy will put his stuff up, it'll be a lot closer to finish than some other people.
Right,
so okay. I think that the skin needs quite a few highlights. Same with the yellows, but I'd say that's about it.
So this seems like a cyberpunk type character.
So the sorry, I'd lost my moment.
More highlights you meant.
Yeah. More highlights for the yellow, and I'd say same for the steel things and so on. Alright, let us move on to our next piece.
Okay. Yeah, Larry. airbrushed over it with Ardennes green, I guess.
Yeah.
Kept it thinned so it was a little transparent, and some of the brighter green is standing out a bit here and there. Better base color now. Edit. Forgot to mention I added some scale 75 winter ground soil. Yeah. So obviously Larry has not given us the full context, but in the Discord he's going from swampy look. So now he definitely looks much more like swamp monster.
I do have to say that despite any transparency that might have been put onto it, I don't really think it's come through. Yeah, I think
I can
that it's...
see it in like the shadowing a little bit. There's like a bit more of a saturated green look, but it looks like a darker green.
And it also does depend on the screen we're looking on, because for example, we at home
we've got 3 different screens. Your screen, my screen, and
yeah, and on the TV it looks quite significantly brighter. But yeah, I look at it and I think most of that green just disappeared. All right.
I think it's good. I think it's looking. Also, I think it looked a bit glossy previously. Now it's nice and matte.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we will move on to another Larry. Okay. So Cardinal Purple and Hospitaler Black to see how it would look. Not really dry yet when photographed. It's a very nice.
It's looking
cool
quite
color.
nice. Look, if you're looking for approval, yes or no, as to whether it works, I'd say it works.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Yeah.
They do say that black goes with pretty much anything.
It does, but black and purple particularly go together
Go very well.
We've talked about that in terms of color schemes and so on.
Yeah. Alrighty. Should we move on to the?
Yep. Alright, so we are up to... Actually, if you'd be able to read this one out.
Oh yes, I will.
Because this one,
Yeah.
we got remarkably few views on this, but I thought that this was one of our most fantastic pieces ever.
Yeah, especially the. Okay. As you know, we hardly ever at everyone, but I feel like this one video is that important. A miniature painting can be art. I feel that this piece, that poem, and this conversation is an important one to have with the... I feel it was a very important conversation if in the first 2 minutes it doesn't hook you. I am sorry to have wasted your time, but that poem and piece that he made for his wife, it touched.
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. A lot like Rumbleroo's commentary,
Yeah.
which is always
Your
interesting.
screen, my screen, we all scream for
ice
ice
cream.
iPads.
Oh no! Do not give the Chitlin iPads.
Do not give the Chitlin iPads. We also made a video on that.
Yes, we did. It was about the
Warhammer
Emperor.
Dad. Oh, sorry. The Emperor.
Yeah. All right.
Tim Albers. Is he new? I feel
No.
like-
He's been around for a long time, but he hasn't posted in
anything.
quite a while.
Right. Okay. Was quiet a bit, lurking and reading. Started some painting again. Tiny 10mm cobblestone castings. Whip.
See,
Yeah, it is tiny.
yeah. See, I think the problem when it comes to a lot of 10mm pieces is I don't do any sort of thing. I guess the only thing that I have ever done with this is how. Do you remember the Ankh game?
Yeah. The
Do you
camels.
remember the camels?
Yeah, I know where the camel.
I think that's the only time that I've really.
Painted some.
Yeah, or that scale. I've painted tiny things before, but things at this scale is quite different, and I think it's quite difficult. Like, I think the main thing at this scale is just making sure you've got really strong contrast. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think if you don't have strong contrast at this scale,
Yeah. See
yeah.
what's.
Yeah, so I think he's
I think
doing.
he's done a good job.
Yeah,
Especially with the wolves.
yeah.
It's a very nice and striking, like the black wash and really pop.
I
The fur and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've done a great.
I think that the fur to the white legs is really good. I do think that with these wraith looking creatures, like this really dark blue, you might want to consider a different choice, just because like even towards a grey, not because there's anything wrong with this color, but like I said, at that scale,
Hard to.
yeah, it's hard to see
I
that
feel
level of
like
difference.
actually the blue with the black is not bad, but maybe
Oh, it's
the,
not bad.
like no, I can still see it, like the difference. But the wings, I think perhaps a different color could have been a better choice. But I mean, it's done, so
Yeah. I know what you're saying, but when it comes to all of this stuff, we've got to try and give advice that's applicable to the people, and I think like at this scale, that's the one thing that we've got to point out.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we've got Calvinoni.
Kid bashed, gone blin.
Goblinoid? Oh, no, Gonblinoid.
I think it is
It's
goblinoids, but
but
the N appeared out of it. Body is from a werewolf, arms and heads from some goblins.
oh yeah.
Very interesting.
I think like they look like good feral goblins. Like,
Oh, goblins.
do you
Oh, Rumble has said something. I have some 15 mil medieval knights.
so there's I think there's a thing called Savage Orcs. They got taken out of the GW line, and that's what these remind me a lot of. I think he's done good, blending it all together. Like at no point in time would have I guessed that these are kit bashed,
Yeah.
which I think is really important. If you're gonna kit bash something, once it's all painted up, at no point in time should you be wondering whether it is or isn't. And I think now I'm not having a go, but often when it comes to Cal, the bases and the miniatures often have the same tone, but this all very separate, all very
Clear.
yeah.
You've got nice saturated green. Goblins themselves, desaturated ground base, very nice. Then you've got the nice red of the spear.
Yeah, there's some blood on it.
Yeah,
and so
to
on.
contrast with the green, and you've got bone, clear grays for the hair or blacks for the hair. It really.
I think those
pops.
are blues. Those are blues and feathers.
Oh, is
As
it
far
feathers?
as I know, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, like, point is, like, I think the kit bash has gone well, and I think the painting looks nice.
Well done.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have John Gap.
Yeah. All right. Would you like to read out?
Well, I finally heard back from the competition. The results were disappointing. I did not make the first cut. It's rough when you spend so much time and effort on a piece, and that's the outcome.
All right. So if this is the
Oh, there were
case,
3,000 entries. So a bunch of folks are in the same boat as me. Oh well, time to take a deep breath and move on to the next project. Palette Cleanser for me is a squad of Jaegers, Dark Mode, Voltan, Jaegers. Should be a fun distraction.
mm-hmm.
I think you did a good job with these.
Yeah, well, I'm interested in seeing where he's going to go with the heads, because like they're pure black. I think that the black / greys come together well, but the one problem is with these guys is that when you do this sort of thing, often black can become grey
Yeah.
by how much you've highlighted, and I think it's just straddling the edge here.
Yeah.
sort of thing.
It's sort of looking a bit more
But
like dark grey, but it's
That is,
reads.
I'd say, also because the head is like pure black right now,
yeah,
and you're just sort of like,
that looks great. But
yeah,
I think
yeah,
once you see it with
And once the heads are done, so what I'd like us to do is go back All right, so let's take a look at it, and let's just have a quick look at the thing. So I think that the basing was good. I think that the way that the mud was done on the cloak, I think we're repeating ourselves here. The way that the mud was done on the cloak could have been improved,
Okay.
right?
And the blonde of the.
Yes, yes. I believe that we talked about the blonde of the hair. So things like this, where he's done the scratch, he could do a metal underline there to
make it look like it's obsessed in the metal.
it's got a bit more depth, right? Let's see what else. So this could use some more highlighting, but I think rather than this using some more highlighting, I think here is where we really see like how this, I think this is one of the things that really made you fall behind quite a bit, the way that you did the mud. The biggest thing when it comes to that is I really cannot recommend pigment powders enough, because pigment powders will not affect your paint job.
Yeah.
And
if you make a mistake, you could just wet a Q-tip and
And-
remove it.
yeah. But more than that, the other part of it is it will allow people to see your ability with your painting. So with the way that you've done the mud, people are going to say, oh, that looks a bit amateurish. That doesn't have that level of finesse. And we try and be very conscious about people hitting their goals. And that's the reason that I brought this up. And like I said at the time, I didn't want to hit on this anymore when you're so close to the competition time, because the problem is that the closer you get to the competition, at least this is my impression, I don't know about the rest of you, but the closer you get to a competition, the more self-conscious you get.
Yeah, hypercritical you get, and then maybe things that weren't a problem you might see as a problem, and you might overcorrect things and accidentally the soup.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to overstress coming closer.
And the thing is, also as somebody who is like, at the moment what we're doing is we're judging the piece. Like there's no ifs, buts or maybes of like how we can get around that right now, right? But we are judging it with your blessing, right? We're not doing it because we're mean or anything. We're trying to help.
Yeah.
And so the thing that I look at here, right, is I probably push the contrast of this cloak as high as you can go. So I don't think that this is a bad base. I don't think that what you did with the line was bad. But when it comes to that sort of thing, like I think I was about to say Alan, but Alan O'Brien is really the one to go to, because he does lots of competition sort of thing, and you just push things 110% of the way. Like subtlety doesn't seem to be a thing in competitions that I see anymore, right? Like
People want the high contrast.
yeah, like subtlety doesn't seem to be something that people really pick up on. So yeah, just
Well, I think it makes sense with how when you have a lot of entry, everyone's trying to stand out. And high contrast means it catches my eye more, and then judges look into that. But it really depends who you get. You can't know how
Yes.
they judge. Sometimes you also don't have any insight into what are the criteria of judging. So that is also.
so.
Yeah.
Next bit of things, right? We will move on to Chris Shah.
Ah, finished frog. Was it on a Wednesday?
It is Wednesday, my dude.
Was it? Okay, 2nd of March. Oh, it's a Sunday frog. Okay, fine. Appointed. So ends this little break from painting the more detail heavy Warhammer models. Satin varnished both. I think they have a nice sort of old hammer feel.
Yeah, no, there's... So, look, you're, as far as I know, Chris, you're aiming for character level. I think you did the sword really, really well. I like that.
Oh, yeah, from the top.
Yeah.
And you can see the little dents and scratches.
Yeah, like...
Shield. And John, that's basically what we were talking about with the scratches, that you see how Chris has highlighted around the edges.
Technically,
but
you want to do the bottoms more than the top. But
yeah, so the top would be a brighter color, and then the bottom would be a darker color.
We'll see,
to, like,
no,
shadow it.
so like right here,
Yeah.
you wouldn't do that steel one on the top.
Yeah.
You just use the black one to indicate that, like, there's that scratch.
Shadow, yeah.
You see, and then you're seeing the reflection from the thing.
Yeah.
Right, and like, by no means am I saying this is bad. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the technique, you can see it a lot better with the X one down the bottom. How you see that slight bit up the top, and then it's lined all the way along the bottom. Things like that.
Yeah.
It just really helps. And so, like, Chris, I think that this guy looks great. I think you've hit you. Sorry.
No, yeah. Please finish.
Yeah, I think that you've hit your target. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think the only thing I would change is that the green of the cape is like a darker version of the green of the frog, so it does blend in a little bit.
I'm pretty sure that he's going off. I think it's called Chrono Trigger. Yeah. So
yeah, it's definitely a very warm color palette. I think if we wanted to bring in a bit more of a, oh yeah, I see what you've done there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
exactly
like,
the same. It's the
yeah.
art. Yeah. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Following the
Give me
art.
a second. I'll do that one. Oh, no,
It's
no.
done something.
I'm trying to flip it.
Yeah, that's.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That frog right there is the one that he's painting.
Yeah,
So I'd say that, like, he's done it perfectly. There's, you know, like, it's, I know that it sounds strange, but it's similar to historical in that way, that you like, when it comes to characters where they've got a set color scheme, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Following the art.
So next up, we have RJ,
RJ.
And he's back in his usual mood because he's got that long, lengthy post again.
Baby Grave Snatcher Diorama Pro.
So
Yeah, baby.
So I think what's really good is the way that he's given that impression of darkness in his wake. Right? Now I don't think this is for a competition.
Is this like a tile? No, it's a diorama.
Yeah, it's just dioramas. So when I look at it, the only thing I think of is, remember how you were talking to him last time about how you want to make sure that people get the right impression, and you had those lines like before.
Oh yeah, with the robot.
So what I was thinking was just a tiny bit in front of him, like not a lot, just a tiny bit, could have that same sort of shadow. And yeah, like, other than that, there's nothing here where I'm like, all right, well, this and this. I just think, yeah, I just think about that. I do like the way that he's shown what these could maybe be gravestones or something, and you see like in the other ones in the background that they're missing those sort of bluish rocks. I th-
Like
but-
they're all too much to.
No. Okay, so when we take a look at it from here, right,
Yeah.
we can see how those bluish style rocks are removed as if he's
Dug them
robbing the graves
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. The only thing that I could think to make that more clear is to have broken gravestones at the back, right, and have completed gravestones at the front. But I mean, I think
He's only seems to have one that.
no. See here, there, got that right there, then right here, and then you see over here how it's full. Over here it's full, and over here it's completely empty.
I feel like but you see how he's made the effort to make the green glow a trail into the rightmost grave toward the back.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
you
think
see,
he
so-
should do the same with those
Yeah,
two?
so like it shows that he's gone to that grave, stolen it, and it's completely in shambles, right? Like it's a bit haphazard. But the others still at the back there on the left, it still has that boundary, that rectangle shape. So it seems like he hasn't done anything to them yet. And even if what you say is true, then there should be the green glow going towards those other two as well to show that they have been emptied out. So
See.
it's a bit confusing.
Alright,
yeah.
alright. Well, let us on. So next up we have
Blurry.
yes.
Some random progress. Added some sand color, okay, skin color to the mummy's base. So when I add basing sand, there's no weird colored gaps in the coverage.
Yeah.
And added skin color to the hands as a base, trying to match the color of unwrapped mummies. So got a ways to go yet. Painted the organ, put midtones on the Hercules figure, but yeah, love the blue.
Yeah, the blues come together really nicely. I think that the face on this model is a bit dodgy. Like we can't see the lines as clearly on that one. But I definitely know what he means about, you put the color down before you put the stuff on, because that's why I always put on the Calidor's cream sort of thing before I do anything else. Yeah, otherwise it does look a bit odd.
And it looks great. I just curious to see I light up.
Because it's a very rich, almost ultramarine blue.
It is
isn't
ultramarine, in fact. I would say.
Would you? Yeah, okay.
It's very much ultramarine.
Alright, and then he's done up the naked pianist's piano.
Yeah.
Yes. And like this guy, wow, just that model is 100% showing its age, because like I'm just looking at it and I'm just like, ooh, Larry, you're gonna have to work quite a bit to sort of make that model come to life. Alright, let us move on to the next one, shall we?
Another Larry. I've been having a blast with Yakuza Pirates in Hawaii. A very interesting combination of
Oh,
words.
that's a new game that's
my
come out. So there's a game series called Yakuza.
Yeah, I know about Yakuza the game, yeah, but like Yakuza Pirates in Hawaii.
That's the name of the game, as far as I know.
Apparently, and I remembered I have a pirate figure, so I started him too. He's blonde because I also love the movie Yellow.
I do not know this one.
Oh, okay, now I can see. Because it looked a little bit like a yellow cloth, like a bandana covering his face.
Right.
But yeah, so the starting color should have been more of a bone, and then moving your way up to like a sand.
Unless he wants it to actually be a yellow,
Yeah.
because that is quite possible. Because some of the times they would be yellow because of how they're stained from the smoking.
Oh. Or like, you know how some people have the white beard, but they're stained a bit yellow because
Because of
of...
the smoking, yes.
I'm not sure about smoking or it's just a pigment. But yeah. Are we moving on to the next one? Or?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the character that he's sort of basing it off.
Yeah, cool. Definitely looks like.
Alright.
Alright, we've got Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
I finally finished my ramp. Now, at least. Critique and feedback.
So I think that the basing looks good. My only problem when it comes to the basing is your composition. So for example, see this plant right here. It's fine, right? Like you could use some highlighting, right? Very similar in tone to the fruit itself. But if you had pointed that outward, it would have looked a lot better, or at least pointed it this way, because when it's following this, it doesn't look white, right? It doesn't look as environmental.
Yeah, and I think some of the ferns, Charlie has used same color as the fruit, and I think should have gone for a more desaturated greens, completely in the other direction, like warm greens.
I like this one he's got right
Yeah,
here.
that is the kind of greens that he should be using, because that way it separates the ground from the fruit, and it will bring more attention to the fruit, because now it just sort of all is like a uniform color from fruit to ground, and it sort of blends in a bit together. So I think if you use more of those like warmer greens, desaturated green for the ground, it will be much better.
So the only other thing is I would say just take a look at how to do some proper photography, because obviously put time and effort into these models, right?
And the basing is really
Yeah, like the color theory is really good. The way that you've got the turquoise against that warm red, right? And how you've got the browns against the turquoise.
Yeah.
All of that is really good color theory. But what is frustrating is a lack of focus.
Yeah.
So, for example, this one isn't quite focused. This one, like some of it is and some of it isn't. This one we get most of it. So when I take a look at the skin, it's hard to tell what's deliberate patterning and what's not. So I think you put a lot of trust into your contrast paint to do the job for you. I don't know if you've got any words on that.
Yeah, it does.
And it's not necessarily bad if it's intentional. There is a way that you could get around this and have it so that like that looks much more intentional, which is by doing patterning over the top of it.
Yeah.
Right, whether that be tiger stripes, whether that be, leopard spotting,
And
that
you
sort of
can
thing.
use that exact same turquoise and a little bit of black, so that it still blends in with the streakiness of it, right? But it will become more intentional that you've sort of traced over top with the patterning, and then it looks more intentional rather than something looks imperfect.
Yeah. Okay. And so this is where the focusing gets really bad, because like I look at this and I'm just like I almost cannot comment on any of the face work.
Oh yeah. Like we can't see the front of. Okay.
Yeah. So the only
Oh yeah, this one.
So the only thing that I want to say on this, right, is please, please, take some photos.
Like individual shots of the guys as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, what you want to have is a concaved back, and you want to take a photo
Yeah.
without the
A
flash,
flash,
on.
yeah, no flash. You can use
And
natural lighting or diffuse.
yep. So
Yeah.
we've got a shot on it.
Yeah.
Should I see if I can find that
Yeah,
shot?
you
Alright, so I'm just gonna quickly see if I can find that shot. Sure.
that's the one.
Yeah, alright. So I'm just gonna copy this and I'm gonna put that as a comment in your post, and hopefully that will help you out for your next one. So we're more than happy to go over these ones again. Basing, absolutely fantastic, but just going off what I see here, probably what I'm thinking is, based off what I've seen, you're probably going to want a bit more work on the metals, and you're probably going to want to do something with the eyes, but that's based off what I'm seeing here. Unfortunately, they're quite blurry.
Yeah.
Alright, so next up we've got more Larry.
Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus. After some finishing touches on face and black, I'm calling this one done. Marvel's Frankenstein has been a favorite of mine since reading the accompanying comic, as well as watching 31 film Itty Bitty Kid. Such a powerful story and tragic character. Painting this figure was something of a trip down memory lane.
Well, I think like the only thing that I would say on this one is choices that are outside of Larry's control. So as far as I know, Larry is doing this color scheme exactly to what appears on screen. I would maybe do steel.
I'll actually bring it up because
Yeah, no, I remember.
You remember.
But so I think maybe like actually have these bits being steel. He's I mean, like technically, as far as I know, they are sutures, but like they're comically large. And the only other thing I would say is his base, which is
A very
yeah.
Yeah, we've seen that with the Dracula.
Yeah, but that's just these Marvel bases, which they've. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with these Marvel bases, but like as far as because here's the actual suit of the thing. So I think he's copied that pretty much as is.
Yeah.
And like there's nothing I think he could or should change about it. I think it looks good. Yeah, I think unless he starts moving away from the source material or putting in just like 1,000% more effort, I don't think he can improve this. I think he's hit all of the things that he wants to hit.
I feel like the jeans could have a bit more of a denim-y look with stretchy highlighting that you have with denim. But other than that, I think
And I think that's about it for this one. All right, so let us move on to more Larry. Larry has been doing very productive this week.
Yes. Today's work on Man Thing added dark green to the swampy grass. We'll do a wash after highlights are done, so everything is tied together. Also added white to the eyes as a base for putting on red lace. Ooh.
And look, it's a whip. And what I do like about it is how Larry goes through his entire process. So, like, let's say that you got this thing, this hand thing.
Man thing.
You would be able to follow along and repeat the process if you like what you saw.
Yeah.
All right, and then next up we have the black goat.
Okay. The black goat. Black. Ah ha 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 ha. Trying to get done with the black goat for 1,000 years. Not sure I can get across some of the ideas I had for them, so added highlights to the green tentacles and the dark green ones on the head. Then dark green to the groin tentacles. Ooh. But yeah, so it's definitely coming together. It's very interesting. But you are saying that you want it to look like it's sort of phasing in and out of the reality and the unreality or whatever.
I think the green looks better than the black that it had before, with the tentacles there. And I like the way that he's done the green highlighting, but when it comes to the phasing in and out, until I sort of see the end result, I'm not going to comment on that one way or the other.
Yeah. Same. Finished just good. So hard to tell how he's gonna pull it. But yeah. Hey.
So,
Moving
next
on.
up.
Yeah, next up.
So, this is Alex's first attempt to get into historical, and
Oh yeah, because it looked like a historical, and I'm just like, are we sure this is Alex?
well, yeah, it might not be his first attempt actually. I don't know, but it's
But
the
that's
first.
what he says. It's his first attempt. Okay, 2 firsts.
Oh, okay.
The picture on the left is my first attempt at removing a sculpted weld line. And replacing it with my own. There is a comparison on the next photo. Second first was my attempt at creating a cast steel texture. I still have a surprisingly long way to go, but I am enjoying
The
every
historical models can be crazy with that. But I will say that this weld line, I think looks
realistic.
I like absolutely.
It. And this is the one Alex is making. Yeah, I think it.
Yeah, I think it's very good, and it's so weird how it's a completely different skill set. I don't know about the cast iron sort of look here. I don't know.
I don't think that was what he was aiming for, that glossy bit. That's him trying to cover up the.
No, this one here. This one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with the texture, because it's delayed on this screen.
Yeah, okay.
So you got to look towards this one.
Oh, alright, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what it looks like? It looks like one of those thick coats of paint that you see on industrial things or like ships.
Yeah, but we won't see the end result for some time, because we won't see it painted until much later. Yeah, so it's gonna be hard to do that. Rather hard to determine whether this is a good version of that cast iron look or not.
I think it'll actually work out. Pretty cool. Like some cast iron. I think it'll work out.
And the other issue with it is that when it comes to this, I don't have much experience trying to make that look, so
yeah,
I can't really comment one way or the other on it. Okay. So look, it looks like you're heading in the right direction. I mean, like, if we're to judge based off this, that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I think it.
Alright,
Okay.
so next up we've got Calvinoni.
Yeah, more kit bashed goblinoids, werewolf bodies, all the
WF. Warhammer Fantasy Goblin heads, I think.
arms from other shield wolves, then some sprugu fungal wall.
Don't think that the
really
fungal
fungal
walls come out, but
yeah,
I do
they
think...
look like stone monoliths, more like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do, however, think that the goblins have been coming up well. Like, with that fur that goes over the groin, it does look as if it's like, what do you call it? The sort of loincloth sort of look.
Ah.
But I would have tried to paint that a different color, or like make sure that it was more of a brown. Like, we can see that with this guy, you've done that, but with this one, the green's over it a lot, so I
Yeah.
try and do that little bit extra. I think that the goblins have come up well, but I think that the fungal walls, no.
Yeah, it doesn't really look fungally, funky.
It does, yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, but it really looks like a very nice sort of sandstone monolith thing.
Potentially,
stone.
I don't know. I'm not sure how I would use that. Alright, and then next up, Larry has picked off another piece.
Calling this one done. I thought about adding some stringy bits to the opening jaws or some gore effects. I think you meant to say AKA dirty downs and gore.
Yeah.
But I have to ship it. Okay, and I don't think it would survive the trip. Oh, I could increase the stone density, but it really wouldn't get me any closer to what I had in mind. If the thing came off the base, I would have done the whole floor as marble and then made chunks and breaks here. And as it is, adding more hole would basically leave holes in the weirdly and conveniently placed for the feet to stand in, and I can't make myself see that as good. So yes, I'm a little grumpy with the floor, but the creature itself looks pretty good, I think. The gaping dragon from...
So I think that like the wings came up really well, because we haven't really seen the wings this whole time.
Yeah.
I think the mouth came up really well. I think that the teeth came up well. I do think that the floor could use quite a bit of work, but you, Sunny. What are
Yeah,
your
I
thoughts?
think I would say the same. I thought he was actually going for a iridescent scale effect. They see that. I don't know if he's added that or not. But it was a very interesting look and texture. I think if he wants to do that. But yeah, everything is very clean. Very super clean. But if he is not going for the iridescent scale look, I feel that there could be further highlighting done. Back?
Yeah, on the tail, less
And the
so on the,
body.
like some of those scaled areas. Maybe a dry brush would have
Yeah,
helped.
like a dry brush. Because like all the highlights we are seeing now are from the light source itself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But to be fair, there is one reason he may not have done that as much. He might have been trying to focus all of the attention on the mouth.
Sure, I suppose, but I mean that's
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah,
Alright,
commentary.
let's move on to the next one.
we got jams. I am back, finally feeling okay after almost 2 weeks of being sick. I've not done much, but I know at least one person on WAYPN that will be happy to see me finally stepping into basing.
Yes, it's true.
Just a bit of experimenting at moment to learn and more to do. Guy on left is a D&D Orc Warrior model that I...
So I think when it comes to this basing, you've done pretty well. The only thing I would say is maybe do up some reds and such for this bit of steel here, which is bent and so on. I think the way that you've done the grass is good. I think the way that everything else blends together is good. I do, however, think that the steel seems a bit flat.
I know it's quite shiny in the quite silver. Maybe a dry brush and a little bit of a wash, but I
Well,
think you've done a good job with it.
I think that if you were to use those steps, you'd want to reverse them because, like, you'd want that steel to really show up quite brightly.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so let us like, is there anything that you want to
No,
comment on any of the other ones?
I think you've done a good job. I think everything else is pretty much.
Yep. All right, let us move on.
To Larry.
Yes, he's been
Going.
pretty much.
I think it's because he's been interviewed now.
Yes.
A newfound motivation to show off his talent. Yes. Added reds, orange, yellows to the bottom of the blast. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look better. Then I used watered down metallic over the bronze base, followed by dry brushing the tops of the Q-tips to try to get in the process of rusting with a little rust powder on that. And it's okay, I guess. More I can do to if I decide I don't like it. Since the reds were out, I added some red orange
Yes,
to the wolf
Spider-Man. Yes.
to the eyes, intending to make a reflective effect, but it ended up being more like bright red iris or pupil than a reflection, and I like it. Then it needs a bit of touch up. Man Thing eyes turned out better, red with dots on.
Well, I do think that doing that little bit of yellow makes it much clearer that it's an explosion. Right, like that these are rocks flying out rather than just sort of being anything else. It looks like we've got some updates on some of the rest of them, like the little Wolfman dude. Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah, it's just I can't take him seriously at all.
He's like a chibi wolf man.
Yeah, he's like a chibi wolf man. He doesn't.
He's so cute.
Yeah, he doesn't like. Look
Yeah,
like the same.
looks really good with
Yes.
the red orange, like you said. Yeah, it definitely needs, like, when you're trying to do glowing eyes, it definitely needs like that bright spot in the. It's glowing. That's good.
So the only thing I would say with the Spider-Man thing is that you could fade that yellow a bit
Yeah.
because it's quite stark. I would.
Because I've seen people do that. I think the Mandalorians had a similar.
Oh yeah.
Mandalorian.
Oh. We'll see because they.
The stuff thing.
Oh yeah, Shatterpoint. And they do that same effect very well.
And if it's not them, yeah. There it is.
Yeah, I see the blasting fire look, but I don't see.
This one's a bit.
Give me a moment. You're pointing at your one. You need to be over here looking at these ones because it's pointless looking at those ones. Because obviously.
So I think I clicked on that image
This one?
to get like related images.
We go to Pinterest, do we?
I remember I think Alex did a Mandalorian painting. Did a very fire effect. I know, but I will copy.
Okay.
Chaz.
I don't think. I think we're just gonna have to move on. Alright, so next up we have Andy Dickinson.
Some more work for this evening. Progress with Karl Fredrickson, although I think he could use some washer slash weathering on some boat. Also, I've had this free guild Cavalier Marshal Games Workshop sat around for a while, so I decided to start on it. Literally just a base coat on the horse, but a start is a start.
So I think that the way that he's done up these panels looks really interesting. I like the way that he's done that. I feel like that the leather color's a bit off, you know, with how yellow it is.
Yeah. It looks more khaki.
Yeah. I think that you'll have to do a bit of work with that leather.
Yeah, maybe like some snake bite leather over that will just fix it. Just a thin down the wash. Yeah, because like even the shirt is a bit like a pale yellow, and then you've got yellow as the buckle. I understand that you're trying to go for gold there. Maybe, yeah, too
But
much yellows.
Yeah, you're just saying that there's a whole lot competing there.
Yeah.
And like yellow against blue, great, you know, and especially with the maroon serving as the red, sure, great color theory, fantastic. But I do think that it does feel a little off. But I like the way that he's been going with the horse. I think that looks interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially the mane. I really like the way that he's been doing up the mane.
Yeah.
Alright, I think we're getting towards the end, guys.
Got something to say?
Yes, he's been putting a bit more work into the Hero Quest goblins.
Yeah, more Hero Quest progress, almost done on the grunts, and the terrain is now fine.
So it looks like he's done up all of their skin, and now he's going into the clothing and the weapon, so on.
Yeah, I really like what he's done with the weapon. Oh wait, I think that's just Xanathol.
Oh yeah, no, it's a Zenithal with the weapons except
He
for
could
the
actually
gold.
sort of bit like.
I've done similar sort of things, so you can see in certain pictures he's done the steel on them, but in other ones he's left it. Yeah, no, it looks like he's done the steel on them. So, with the exception of one picture, I think he's done all of the steel on all of them now. Yep. All right. So, next up we have.
Ooh, we have Tomas. We haven't seen. Finally, I finished the guy. Overall, it came quite nice, except the plasma gun. I still can't get it, and the base, I haven't a good idea. Ooh, hello, Penguin. Welcome. I have to be. I think this is very chaos because of how vibrant it is. Like it looks like that one Black Legion artwork where it was like the red sun in the background, and there was like one demon possessed guy, and he just looks. It looks like that. It has that vibe. And I love the little eyes that he's.
Yes, I was going to comment on that, but please keep going.
And you've got great color theory by using purples for the shadows, and then you move up to like pinks, highlights for the bits. Yeah, all the colors really pop, and it really attracts your attention. I think you did it.
So, obviously he's put a tremendous amount of work into this, so I'm going to try and give a similar level of commentary. So the first thing that I want to talk about is there is so many subtle little things that he's done here, right? For example, we can see the
Muzzle burn
along here, but then we see it go to straight steel. But what I think, rather than straight steel, is a sooted effect is probably what you want to look at there, or bring that blue all the way to the top. When it goes to straight steel, it sort of breaks that effect, because I think that that's good. And also between those layers you can actually blend that.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that the eyes are absolutely fantastic. I think the way that he's done the lighting with the gun is absolutely fantastic. You see how you
Yeah,
got,
just a bit of a subtle.
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't call it fully subtle, but like even right here, we see that he's done a tiny bit of edge highlighting in that. But there are some other things which make this feel a bit sort of question marky.
Huh.
So, like for example, with the empty eye of Horus here,
Yeah.
like you're like, okay, well, why is this empty but every one of these eyes done up?
Yeah.
It makes you sort of go, what's happening here? It doesn't feel as purposeful. It feels a little odd, right?
Yeah.
And this is not to say that you've done a bad job with any of it, right? What I'm trying to do is highlight things that other people would question and that sort of thing. Because you've obviously done a tremendous amount of work. What I think is good with the base is how mundane the base is. Now, as somebody who loves basing, don't get this confused. I'm not saying that this is bad basing, right? But obviously the model is quite fantastical. But you've got some rocks here, you've got the steel grating, all of these little bits, right? And it looks quite normal. So that allows this to pull focus, which is a good job.
Yep,
I
yep,
think
yep, yep.
that's really well done. But what I think needs, what I think does bite things is right here. So we see how all of that, we've got this sort of realistic steel effect against these other quite fantastical elements. And then in here, the steel isn't as realistic. So we see realistic steel here, unrealistic steel here. Right?
Yeah.
And then
And you see how the steels are more like a painted yellow.
yeah, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
you see how, like, they've got some sort of rust on them, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, this bit right here makes it look as if you just gave up painting halfway through, right? I'm not saying that you did. I'm saying that this is what some people will think, right? Like, some of the times our ideas don't translate as well when we bring them there, because especially like when we see all of this flesh and all this sort of thing, like, okay, let me give an example. So we see all of this flesh work, we see all of this sort of stuff, right? And the way that you have done the
Weathering.
yeah
Marking.
like
word.
it looks absolutely freaking fantastic. It's just absolutely the best. It, like, there's no ifs, no buts, no maybes.
Very grungy.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. So it's already fighting against the idea of the fantastical elements that it's
The
right
organic.
next to.
The organic.
Yeah, but they're not just organic, they're fantastical, right? They're not a flesh coloured, right? They're like this pinky muscled colour, right?
Yeah.
It's not a realistic style, it's a fantastical style.
Okay, yeah.
This is a realistic style. So I'm saying that you've done both well, but these concepts fight against one another, because you got fantastical, realistic, fantastical,
Yeah.
right? Now, this by all means, I'm not saying that any of this is done badly. I'm just saying here are some elements that you want to consider, right? So once again, I'd say that's the exact same thing here on the back, but there's something else that I want to talk about, because he's done it here, he's done it here, he's done it up here, and on the front, the way he's done that black and yellow wiring, absolutely fantastic. So I think overall, this is an absolutely tremendous paint job, right? It's absolutely fantastical. Like this is it. If this isn't showcase level, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
But there's these certain elements where it's fighting with itself. Now I'm scratching my head how to miss whether. Yeah. So I'm guessing this is Tomas, who's in the comments right now. But yeah, so I don't think that you've done anything wrong, but I do think that there is certain elements which are fighting one another, and I don't know how to square that circle. Like that's my biggest problem here, because I look at this, I think all of that's great, but yeah, I just don't know how to square that circle, because this is done really well, this is done really well.
Yeah, so basically the points of improvement would be to work on that Eye of Horns central piece, and then maybe doing a little bit more touch up on the weather steels. I think other than that, it's pretty good to go. I don't think you should do anything else with the base. I think the base is really
Oh no, the base is absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic, and trust
So
me,
you
as somebody who's obsessed with bases, yeah, it's
really
fantastic.
good. Yeah, it's got that rubbly.
It feels
ancient-
realistic.
Yeah, it feels realistic, and I think it just matches so well with the yellow tones that you have decided to use. So yeah, the very minor changes. Everything else is really well done.
Yeah, no, and so I understand. Just give me a second. The one thing that I was trying to say with all of this was that you've done a really good job with doing these two elements. I just don't know how you can bring those two things together, the realistic and the absolutely fantastical, because at the moment they are fighting each other a bit. But I will say, on the legs, they don't seem to fight each other as much as they do on the body, at least at the back.
Maybe a bit of gore.
I'm not sure. I'm not
to
sure what it
blend
is.
them together.
But I do think that at the back, they, like the back of the legs, absolutely like hit that mark. But that's about it. I hope that this commentary has been helpful, because we really did try to do it as appropriate to you. Alright, so next up we've got some more Larry.
Had a little fun with the airbrush tonight, mainly doing color and then telling them, you've got red on you. I did put down some gray, which, okay. But I had trouble spraying the nickel from some, so I decided to dry brush it. Not too heavy, which led to some paint coming off down to primer on the but nowhere else, so I'm trying to figure that out. Oh well, try again another day. Oh, and it seems my hand highlights figures, some kind of space marine from the edges of time, an urban mech I'm going to call Cliff Jumper, Beta Ray Bill, personal figure, some random pirate I wanted to see how red trash can.
Yeah, no, and look, this is part of the process, just basing stuff up, just getting those things working. That's part of it. Alright, let's move on to our final post.
We've got Penguin. My SAAF passed and done, celebrating the 85th anniversary of Squadron the Flying Spitfire VB. So, I know that Penguin was struggling at perfect diamond come. It was very clean.
Yeah, not so clean.
Not so cool. Not sure if he will be able to fix.
So, I will say that imperfection is quite noticeable. Um, it's only if you're further away do you not notice
Yeah,
it.
so with
So I
if you're using masking tape, it's actually a good idea to put the tape on your skin first, on hairy part of your skin, and then just one pass, peel it off. That'll get rid of any excess stickiness on the tape, so that when you go in and do the thing.
that's not it. So like he might have been using different masks. Like you're thinking about standard painter's tape,
I
right?
think that's what he used. As far
But
as I remember.
the thing that you should do when you're using these things is
Irby detected.
I don't know what
I don't know
it
Irby.
is. But the should put down medium. You should paint medium over the taped areas, right? Especially along the line.
Like a set.
No,
what do you
it's
mean
not
by
it's
medium?
not like it doesn't matter like even if it's airbrush mixed medium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so like that's just
Yeah.
one of the things. So apparently your presentation side is on your worst side, so I'd put the models the other way around just so that your presentation side is showing off the better paint job.
When you go to display it in
Yeah, yeah,
wherever the
'cause-
case or
And the only other thing I'd say is if you wanted to do a past and present thing, so I see that you've got this this sort of flat black thing set up. Maybe what you might want to do for the past and present, if this is one of the things, you might want to do a line in the middle of that and do one side how the airports used to look, right, and on the other side how the new
like a
runways
split,
look,
yeah.
and sort of show like this is how things were back then, this is how things are now, because anything that you can do to draw attention away from, I know it's a very minor thing, but people can be very nitpicky, especially if you're taking this to a competition.
Yeah, but as far as I know, he's.
Well, I
But
think
I mean,
it's for, it says my SAF. So yeah, it is, as far as I know, for a, or at least for something along those lines. All right. Well, I think that's about it. Is it not?
We will do a refresh.
No, because I mean, like, even if we refresh, we're not doing any more ones
Okay.
this week, right? Because you put up your post. Yeah. All right. So there is one bit of news. So this week we have been doing a lot of us work, which is like we've been preparing for a cyclone, and we've been getting the government off our back, because we need they want us to have certain levels of ID and all sorts of other
Documentation.
government
BS,
usual
essentially.
life nonsense.
Yeah.
So that's why I have not been present at all this week. I apologize, guys, but sometimes life attacks. So, as always, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and keep those brushes wet. Bye bye. Bye everyone.